asset? Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
What is up? Hopefully my microphone is working right off the bat today. Forgot to click the little button yesterday. Welcome to Discover Crypto's Blockchain Basement Crypto Deep Dive, baby. This is where we can dig a little deeper and look into what's going on in the crypto ecosystem. We have some major news that happened overnight with the White House crypto report. We have some insiders, some shot callers that are being exposed as the architects of what the crypto framework for the United States is actually going to look like. And they're connected to some major projects that some of you may indeed be holding in your bags right now. So stay tuned for that information. We have the SEC, Paul Atkins, coming out talking about Project Crypto. This broke just before we went live, a commission-wide push to modernize securities. We're going to take a look at what the new SEC Securities and Exchange Commission chair, the leader of oversight and regulation for this budding ecosystem of crypto, how they're going to approach a crypto-friendly approach for the United States. Welcome to the show, one and all. This is your boy, The Druth. I got some pizza here. Probably going to snarf some of this down at some point during the stream. It's looking at me. It's looking at me. This pizza's looking right at me. Welcome to the show. Got Carbon, Yoann, Carlos, Nino, James Films, Earth, M&I, Mr. Gray. What is up in H. Bardano Dan? So good to see you here. I'd imagine you hold some H-bar with a name like that. Smash the likes, share the stream, and let's get into it, you guys. Make sure you are following me on my X account here at Druth Crypto. I also did a morning live show that I'm still testing it, but I'm going to get my live show going on the arena as well, in the trenches, Drew and Malik. And this is really the Blockchain Basement, our old school OG YouTube channel as well. I'm going to be streaming those streams to Blockchain Basement and the arena for the Avalanche ecosystem. Shout out to everyone that's in the AVAX ecosystem and in there. We looked at some ecosystem plays this morning. It actually did look pretty juicy. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel, Discover Crypto. 1.4 million subs. DZ's beautiful face right there. We had a huge show yesterday, me and Josh, for the FOMC. The chaos that the FOMC brought to the markets. Now things are actually kind of looking a little bit juicy. Things are looking a little bit juicy. We had a slight little stall out this morning. Here is Bitcoin on my L Bank. I'm snooping around here. God, I'm feeling juicy about trying to find that next entry point for a good long. One thing I have to keep in mind though is that this trading range that I've been operating off of for quite some time. I'll turn these market cipher support and resistance lines off just for a moment for the larger time frame here. More often than not, the green zone has represented a great buying opportunity, right? The green zone, extreme bounceability, buying opportunity in the green in the $116,100 to $116,800 range. We've seen some pretty strong bounces out of that range and some major resistance here at the $120,000 right at about area. Right now, as we're recording to you live, coming from the studio, we are smack dab in the middle of this range. Oh my God. Every day I wake up, it's the same situation. Yesterday, we had that big pullback. The FOMC caused a good stumble to the markets. Let's take a look at that. Go down to the 4-hour. Zoom in. God, and look at it. This is something to take in context. I'm zooming in and we're looking at this current range, but these are the sizes of the range that we just came out of. I mean, we had to do a snap crash. We pumped to 109,000, snap crash from trade wars down to the 74 spot, which is that old school peak, right about the peak where we found in March of 2024, $74,000. We came right down darn near right to it in the trade war crash, and then we're able to continue on upward. Very similar situation on a smaller scale here from the 111 down to 98. All great buying opportunities. All major dips are buying opportunities, in my opinion, in this current market. I'm feeling like we're in a bull market, It's just a matter of how much of this chopping and ranging we have to do. And one thing that I am keeping in mind is a structure similar to the one that we just got out of is not out of question. This is not out of question. If we see, maybe one more impulse and then a fall back down to these intermediary highs, let's bring this down just a touch at about $109,000, that would actually make a lot of structural sense for Bitcoin. That's why we have to be focused here using stop losses in this trading, because we have only been in this situation for about 20 days, and it absolutely has the potential to at least tap the top end of these original pump 2 moments. So just keep that in mind. I know we're out there having a lot of fun trading, and it's wild when you are out there trading. Gets the goat going, but just be cautious. Stop losses are your friend in this environment. There are some major bullish indicators and some calls coming from some of my favorite traders on the planet that are looking at Ethereum as well. So we're going to have to check that out. Let's get into all of these stories and check out the crypto landscape as things sit right now, midday. We're at $3,792 for Ethereum. XRP still on that shave off moment at $3.10. Bitcoin trying to make that rebound, sitting flatline, sitting slightly green. It's not all over. Our bags are still there, and really things have never been so here to stay. I've never felt more convicted about what I'm investing into, where I'm spending my time learning about, researching. That is cryptocurrency and the way that markets work at large, because what I saw come out is absolutely incredible. This is David Sachs, who's known as the crypto czar of the United States, coming in, dropping the hammer, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology, a report from the White House on crypto. In his words, provides long-awaited regulatory clarity for innovators in a cutting-edge industry, President Trump delivering on his promise to make the U.S. the capital of the planet. Now, obviously, David Sachs leading up the crypto and AI infrastructure boom, the outlook for it here in the United States. He's deemed the crypto czar here in the United States by Donald Trump himself. And we're going to take a look at this report here in a moment. But there's just so much bullishness going on right now. Look at this. The SEC launches a Project Crypto initiative to make America the crypto capital of the world. Okay. And Paul Atkins completely understands crypto, wants that control for the United States dollar hegemony, and they're going to get it. SEC Paul Atkins has unveiled this commission-wide push to modernize security rules and move U.S. financial markets on chain. Move U.S. financial markets on chain. This is absolutely insane. Like, just the real estate industry here in the United States makes up $120 trillion. Just the real estate industry. There is so much money on the table for us to be tokenized into, and so much opportunity for these platforms that are on the in crowd, that are on the, the regulatory advising crowd of the United States, that, in my opinion, are going to be picked and chosen winners of this upcoming continuation. This isn't even a cyclical, it's going nuts because of speculation going down. No, what we have is the framework for actual utility for the U.S., putting U.S. financial markets on chain. Absolutely incredible. Drew, have you sold your hex yet? Hold on. Wait a minute.
You are banned!
All right. What's up, David? I'll see you in a minute, buddy. No, I don't own any hex to my knowledge, unless someone sent me some hex, in which case I've never seen it, nor will I find it. Now, here we go. Today, I'm announcing the launch of Project Crypto, a commission-wide initiative to modernize securities and rules and regulations to enable American financial markets to move on-chain directly. Just a few weeks ago, Trump signed the Genius Act into law, ensuring that America will continue to lead the globe in global payments and the gold standard stablecoin regulatory framework. Upon signing the Genius Act into law, pleased that President Trump endorsed congressional efforts to pass crypto market structure legislation by the end of the year. He's excited. He sees the framework about the Clarity Act, the Genius Bill, all of these things coming in together to really lay the framework for a literal tokenization of the United States markets. Absolutely incredible. Lots of money on the table here. We have to be patient. I put up a post. I was trolling last night. I know it gets aggravating when you see your tokens are in the write-up, man. This is the write-up. We're going straight to the write-up right now. This is the Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology report from the White House. Now, you can go through this if you want. It's got members of the working group here: David Sachs, the lead; Scott Bessent, Secretary Treasury, who's foaming at the mouth to give the Treasury new ability to print dollars through stablecoins. He's excited. Pam Bondi, where's the list? Howard Lutnick, leading up the 21 Capital MicroStrategy/strategy competitor. Howard Lutnick working with Jack Mallers. They're going to come out the gate swinging with 43,000 Bitcoin to start their accumulation process. Absolutely insane. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, Russell Wright, Marco Rubio. Let's see here. Anyone else notable? Paul Atkins there. He's the leader of the SEC. Caroline Pham. She's been pretty cool. She had the CFTC. I don't have a problem with how Caroline Pham has handled crypto infrastructure. I think she does a pretty good job. And then Bo Hines, that guy behind David Sachs. Bo Hines and David Sachs working on these AI and crypto working groups, getting the rubber to the road when it comes to tokenizing infrastructure and turning these public systems, these are companies, private companies. They're just out there on the open marketplace. They're producing systems to automate the way data flows, to cheapen the way that data flows, to quicken the way that money makes it from point A to point B. What we're seeing right now, this giant report, is the literal framework for how they're going to do it. And what's in this framework matters so much. As I said, I went through this myself, but I got to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Steve-O. He's mentioning the things that got me really excited: Avalanche and Chainlink. Now, the thing about Avalanche and its inclusion, I expected Chainlink, to be quite honest with you. Put out a post last night because this is the vibe. We got, Chainlink being mentioned twice directly within this White House report by the literal White House, and yet prices were flat. They still are flat. I feel insane in this world. Chainlink mentioned right there, and then the general design, infographics, and informational flow from Chainlink making its way inside of the actual report here. But something else that's very, very intriguing to me is who is the source material that is being used here, right? And so when I look at where is Avalanche mentioned, because something really struck me on this. So we go here. I'll share this tab instead. All right, there we go. Share this tab instead. So what we have, Avalanche being mentioned in the State of Crypto Index as a source material. This is from AI16Z. AI16Z. Well, let's dig into what AI16Z really is. This is Andreessen Horowitz and the investment firm there within, and they invest in many, many different markets: crypto, heavy interest, enterprise, fintech, games, infrastructure, all kinds of stuff. But they've had a very, very big footprint in crypto. And these old investments from AI16Z into Ava Labs. This is a news article that highlighted the investment from AI16Z into Ava Labs in March of 2023. Paints a very clear picture that the source material that is being used in this White House write-up are coming from what are unknown to the rest of the world, architects in the new American crypto infrastructure. People like David Sachs, people like Andreessen Horowitz, people like Paul Atkins. The people at the top of this that are old school investors. Paul Atkins used to lead the SEC. He does once again at Trump's request. They are laying the framework for an absolutely insane influx of use, not some cyclical run. Talking about actual adoption. I'm talking about actual use case and these things truly coming to fruition. Because what we've seen right now is basically just a speculation slosh of maybe $1 trillion from one altcoin ecosystem to the next, with Bitcoin remaining in control of the vast majority of market caps. But once we see these types of things actually go into action from Paul Atkins, the Project Crypto, moving U.S. financial markets on chain, that's where absolute ridiculousness takes fold. And then, maybe we won't have only 3 months to be geniuses out of every 4 years in altcoins. Maybe it'll be, God, I can't believe that guy found Ondo. I can't believe he found HBAR early 10 years from now, because some of these projects that are in the top 100, some of these that we look at every single day are going to extend their lifespan well beyond our expectations. So it's all about picking the right ones. I see B&B. Hold on. B&B is up to $810 just about, trying to make another major run. B&B, not just a few days ago, is $850, looking like it's feeling uppity once again. Shout out to B&B holders. Shout out to CZ. Shout out. Now I want to go through the chat here real quick. What is up, that guy? H-bar was mentioned, Steve said as well. Absolutely. H-bar we had mentioned, and there's even more. Like, because we got to think about what are the companies that AI16Z has really leaned into? What are the companies, the crypto protocols that AI16Z has invested into and actually thinks there's a good future for? We're going to take a look at that list. Very, very interesting list. But yes, we have Solana mentioned once, twice in a reference. So one direct mention and then 2 reference points here for their source material. Avalanche, Polygon, Phantom. I believe that's known as Sonic now. Cello, however you want to say it, OP, Base, Arbitrum, all mentioned in the reference. Aave and Uniswap mentioned in a graphic, so a little bit different of a mention. And then H-bar mentioned in reference to DeFi explanations. So when we see this, this is source material. I want to give an example. So I saw it was like an IMF World Economic, I just get a stupid, smash the like. There's IMF/WEF write-up on source material of how crypto is really going to expand by those internal big bank leaderships in 2017. And they highlighted Solana, XRP, Stellar, and who was the third one? I think it was XLM. They mentioned 4 of those. And really, I mean, obviously they've had some staying power. Yes, there's things left to be desired if you're only top blasting, or if you're just constantly DCAing into those projects and you're just buying local tops all the time. Yeah, there's, you're down a little bit, but at large, those ecosystems have continued to grow. And it's pretty important. Think about if you would have acted on that information back when I found it. I think it was put out 2017. I found it 2019, 2020, started making investment decisions from that point. This is about seeing things well before they're found by the greater audience, right? That's where the real juice, the real upside can come from. And here are some other investments that Horowitz has made through AI16Z: Solana, AVAX, Near, obviously Ethereum, Aptos, Flow, Ron, Rose, and then the NFT sector has even gone after with Ape. ICP in this, for some reason, they're lumped to the NFT sector for that. AXS, again, Flow, YGG, and the DePIN and DeFi sectors they've been big on as well with these projects. Uniswap's a monster. Maker, Light. I mean, a lot of these are old school DeFi monsters that are just going to be there. They're going to see that influx. But the DePIN, well slept on. DePIN sector is completely asleep. It's almost like DePIN and DeSci fell into that same basket. They just kind of got overlooked there for a minute. I wouldn't be surprised to see a nice little return season for him here. But Chainlink seems pretty excited about the write-up. This is from Chainlink's official Twitter account, X account. U.S. government modernizing financial systems and Chainlink at the center of it all. The SEC is issuing recent interpretive guidance informed by Chainlink's feedback. Stablecoin issuers adopting Chainlink following the signaling of the Genius Act. Sergey, the leader of Chainlink, or Sergey, opening markets at the White House, opening remarks on the Digital Asset Summit. And this is a big, big thing. Sergey was the only one that spoke at that dinner with Donald Trump. He had Brad Garlinghouse, was quiet right next to him. He didn't. I was expecting Brad to stand up and say something at that dinner. Instead, it was Sergey, where I was like, whoa, he's got brass balls. He's going in after it. Tokenizing in America, tracking blockchain progress across 50 states, launched by Chainlink and the Blockchain Association. So connections into this blockchain association, I think, are going to be pretty important. This is an organization I feel is worth watching to see which crypto products get connected to them. And the SEC Crypto Task Force is inviting Chainlink Labs to discuss tokenized asset standardization, aka on top of the proof of act that Chainlink is integral in proving the assets actually exist for whatever blockchain there is. Shout out to your language. I don't know quite where you're from, Grandohoy, but good to see you there. White House featuring Chainlink and Digital Asset Report as well. So a lot of overlap between Trump, World Liberty Fi with their old school Chainlink gigabuys. And now we see the Proof of Act moving forward and Chainlink being mentioned by the White House report. The signs have never been clearer that I'm on the right path. It's just maddening to not already be at the moon. But if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? Everyone would do it. I was asking people in my Twitter account, why are we sitting here so flat on Chainlink and asset? Like, I mean, even HBAR is mentioned. We have a lot of crazy mentions happening at a White House legislative level, and yet many of these mentioned projects are not moving. Is it because there's no interest in altcoins, regardless of if the U.S. government plans to use them, or at least their source material to build out, the next multi-trillion-dollar market on top of? Are we just insane? It's crazy to see. It's crazy to see. Bitcoin rolling down. We got 117.9. Let's do a little look-see here. I might be able to get snag a little long here live. Let's check it out. All right. Let's check it out. Let's see here. Got the community screeners. I'm going to go through this and make sure I got all the stuff that I need. Here we go. Where's the tree? Object tree. I'm going to go this. I'll restart this because I want to get the market cipher on here. I'll get the market cipher on here. That's what we need. We need market cipher B. We need market cipher B. All right. So 15-minute looks like more pain. More pain. I'll check out and see if we can get actually in this green buy zone. We've been bouncing pretty nice out of this zone. So if we get down to this 116.8 while I'm live, folks, please let me know. I will be able to fire off another juicy long. I love trading these markets, and the markets bring chaos. Bring chaos up and bring chaos down. Copper got obliterated. More than 20% of it obliterated. Currently on track for the worst day in history. I think copper going down like this deserves a look-see on TradingView. Let's see here. Let's see how bad it really looks. Oh, just but a scratch. Look at this. Get all these indicators out of the way. Turn this off. So, I mean, yeah, it's a pullback, but I mean, this doesn't. I mean, okay, 25%. That's a little bit. That's a little much. These are monthly candles here. Quite a much larger pullback happened in the financial crisis here, 2008. Was this crisis? This is someone sneeze, wet market, stuff like that. What do we drop by? These are monthly candles, mind you. So this one is actually pretty good, 25% there. So what is this one? June 22. This is when the market started just rolling over in general, for crypto at least. I mean, 2022 is absolutely brutal in crypto. So this monthly candle dropped by about, I mean, this is a pretty substantial drop. I'll give it to them. It's a pretty substantial drop. But when they zoom in and they can make articles like this, it is over. Sometimes you got to take a breath, step back, look at the charts here. It helps a lot with, investing. It'll drive you mad if you're expecting to win over the course of a day. If you're expecting that $5 to $100,000 moonshot, if you just picked 6,000 meme coins to buy, I think you're going to be sorely mistaken. You're going to be very sad about those decisions. So get rich slow and protect it quickly. That's what I would say about that. The S&P 500 surging, even though copper had a hard time. The S&P 500 surged above 6,400 into new all-time high territory as large cap tech stocks crush earning expectations. We also have a beta Bitcoin play on Wall Street that's coming up with a major earnings report today that, in my opinion, will drive markets furious for that upside here. You know who I'm talking about, strategy. But let's get into this Nancy Pelosi clip here. Nancy Pelosi getting called out. We just looked at the regular markets. You could find chaos in those too. And Nancy Pelosi says that she does not engage in insider trading and has no concerns about her past investments. Let's have a look at this.
To respond, he accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider.
There she goes. She's got a degree of separation because she's not into it. Her husband is, right? So no problem here. You can make laws and push companies to the limelight, invest in them before you make that law go through, reap the benefits because it's all through your husband. It must be nice. This, it's a loaded subject. If Trump boosts the real estate industry, he holds a lot of real estate, right? So he would benefit from that. When I see a politician that makes a few $100,000 a year, amass of an amount of wealth in the tens of millions of dollars, and she outpaces every single trader on the planet Earth, this woman absolutely needs to be hardcore investigated. She's not just the fact that she's always drunk, but that she's outpacing every single trading algorithm, everything on the planet. Somehow just makes you wonder. Really does make you wonder, is this okay? Right? Good day, Mr. Zachary Martin. Good to see you. What up, Laserface? Just copy trade them? Maybe that's the play. Is it that we just fade them and allow them to do it, but we do it too? Right? The difficulty with that is they don't have to report their trades immediately. They report them on like a quarterly or biannual basis, right? So do you just copy them 3 months after they make the play, right? Copy them 3 months after they make the play. She's living her best life now. She has no idea what's coming to her. Shout out to that. Oh my God. Now, major earnings reports are coming out that are going to affect Bitcoin today, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a discussion of the Q2 financial results. So the financial results of Q2 are coming out. The review of MicroStrategy, Strike, STRF, STRD, and STRC, all their other derivatives that give that good old yield to these Wall Street players. An update on our capital plan, introduction to new metrics, and a live Q&A. Historic day for strategy investors. Strategy seems pretty excited about their earnings report. There's a lot of FUD going around that, they're overextended and the earnings are going to be down. This is a conflicting conversation. What say you? Let me know in the comments. Is the earnings report going to be good or bad for strategy? They've been leaning into Bitcoin. They've been top blasting in a very, very big way. Obviously, they've had the limelight, but is the proof going to be in the pudding for this company? What is up, my man? Let me hook up my boy here. I got my boy with me. He needs some help. Get this. There you go, buddy. Is that good? There we go. Helped him out that quick. You think it's effing great? I want to know. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a bullish or bearish quarterly earnings report for strategy? There's been a lot of focus on them. Strategy obviously is moving up the line when it comes to value. Yes, my man, my little man Bronson, now other bullish earnings reports have come out, right? We have Microsoft becomes the second company in history to reach a $4 trillion market cap. People say that, Bitcoin can't hit a $4 trillion market cap. Freaking Microsoft did it. Okay. We're actually getting pretty close to that $4 trillion mark. If you look at Bitcoin's overall market cap, we're right at about, I believe, 2, maybe 3. Let's go check it out here. We're part 2.3. Yeah, that's what I was in. What is up? Crypto Crow your coins. What is up? The behemoth of the blockchain. What is up, Crypto Crow? Good to see you, man. Now, Bitcoin is in a precarious situation. As highlighted by Matthew Hyland, very, very tight range. Very tight range for Bitcoin. So the Bollinger Bands, the daily Bollinger Bands, are the tightest they've been since August of 2023. Things are tight, like a tiger. Now, where I see this going, it almost looks like we need to revisit the shelf. I'm sorry. I want to be bullish as all get out, but I don't know, man. I'm still looking for longs because we're in a bull market, but this comparing to this compression, but granted, this is a different time frame. These compressing Bollinger Bands usually end up with an explosive move either up or down. When you have a compression like this, and there's no denying when you're looking at Bitcoin from a backed up point of view, the short term time that we've had on this shelf is glaringly obvious. Like we are in this tiny little, this is like enough room for our toe. This is enough room for the toe of the giant of Bitcoin pumpamentals to be able to punch up and off of. And the last two kind of flush out cycles that we've seen in Bitcoin over the past year or two here have been slow grind, lower high consolidations down with that bad news inflection point, and then you get the buy bounce, the juice in the engine to bounce off of old school local highs. Bing, bong, as Frankie always says, you hit that previous local high, get the buying juice to make it to the next zone. So in this, I am being careful. We are not even 20, 30 days into this current range. But just be careful out there. Just be careful out there. There is a lot of extreme high margin on Wall Street. I will say that. There's an extreme high margin on Wall Street. Traders be out there trading. Now, one of the best traders on the planet, if not the best trader on the planet, has got some interesting thoughts on Ethereum, folks. Now, from now through the next 2 days, he posted this yesterday, Crypto Face, the real Crypto Face one on Twitter. Over the next 2 days, we have a shot to take $4,000 ETH and see you in 48 hours or less at $4,000 Ethereum. Smash the like, plus one in the chat if you are ready for $4,000 Ethereum, because, oh my God, we keep getting right there. The Ethereum chart is so close to breakout, folks. Like, we are knocking on the door of levels that we haven't been for quite some time on Ethereum. I do want to go check out this chart here real quick. We'll check it out and just show you kind of what's in my mind for Ethereum. It's actually already mapped out here. Let's go here. That's Crypto Face talking about that money flow moving up, baby. And as the charts sit right now, this downward trend line, we peaked our head above it. We just were like, ooh, what's up, baby? We had 38.50 last night. Last night was actually pretty good in terms of price action. And we are peaking our head just barely above this trend line. We're at a very, very important inflection point for Ethereum. Money flow, market cipher B. Let's show that. The monthly even has a green dot. The monthly has a green dot on market cipher B for Ethereum. So, I mean, things are looking juicy as all get out. I think some definite upside is knocking on the door. Thus why I'm afraid to short this market, trying to look for those old school setups, because this could be the time where Ethereum breaks this trend line and then Bitcoin's like, nah, I'm coming too. All right. And then you kind of get that compounding snowball type effect for the rest of the market. Drew, will you say hi? Effortless Gold. I'm new here. What up, Effortless Gold? Well, and thanks for being new here. Shout out to the new peeps, people learning the market. So this short term, but honestly, the more bullish graph, the thing that's got me really excited is this Ethereum on the monthly, really, really setting up nicely. Crypto Face is feeling it. I'm feeling it too. So we'll see if it plays out over the next, it's been interesting. We've been pumping on the weekends and then resetting the price back down for Wall Street to take over during the week. Like, Wall Street really hasn't been that great in terms of price action. The chaos has been happening in the middle of the night when the degens, the sneaky players. Shout out to your ooh-woo there, Mr. Meaningless Banana Republic. Now, Circle to launch native USDC on Hyperliquid. And also, you just asked for an ooh-woo on Discover, so hold on.
You are banned!
There we go. That's good. That's better, right? I feel better. I don't know about you. Circle to launch native USDC on Hyperliquid. Now, Hyperliquid has come off the top ropes as well. Hyperliquid is now officially number 9 in terms of the largest blockchain out there if you take out Tether and USDC, stablecoins. If you actually are only counting crypto projects in the top 10, Hyperliquid is number 9. Hyperliquid has held up very, very, very well in light of the rollout of Coinbase perpetual futures. I did not see a massive fall off in interest, a massive fall off in value from this. Hyperliquid, though noted, has moved very counterintuitive to the rest of the market. Thus, be wary of this potentially not being in existence a year from now or 2 years from now. But it will have a great season. I think Hyperliquid's going to have a great season. I'm just wary about. I'm wary about things that pump when other things, vast majority of other projects are dumping. When the general flow of things is downhill, Hyperliquid moving up. And yes, you have something to be said for a lot more traders on there. But we've seen intentions from Binance and players like that, in my opinion, testing the bounds and the capabilities of their liquidation capabilities and threshold on Hyperliquid. There's some testing. This is obviously not financial advice, but there's been some testing that I can see being done from centralized exchanges on Hyperliquid. It has a target on its back, but the chart looks uppity. So shout out to Hyperliquid. You cannot deny, and they are integrating with Circle. So maybe they're going to start to get into the in club with that move. Now, some great insight. This is a absolutely phenomenal profile to follow. Stay up to date with Coinbase Duck. Great alpha. Now, he's talking about the potential of Coinbase tokenizing gift card markets. Major merchants accepting crypto payments through gift card setups. Why has no one thought about this? And you know what? I know he's not saying it. This is me pontificating. This is me and my reading through the lines. I think we're going to see some major deals cut between Coinbase and retailers for crypto Coinbase card-powered gift cards. I could see it happening. It's a great way to get that introduction into crypto for people. They get given a gift card, easy instructions to use it. Boom, you're in business. Now, a project that Brian Armstrong has been backing for some time, Research Hub, was able to get listed on Coinbase today. It looks like Research Hub and then now this Bio Protocol, which is way down in terms of price. But DeFi in general interests me, and Research Hub is the one that I'm really watching here. Research Hub is now available on Coinbase. And when I go to the chart of Research Hub, it actually does not look too bad. RSC is the ticker here, Research Coin. And, you know, as the entire narrative and all the hype around DeFi died through this range, Research Coin thrives on. And yes, the listing from Coinbase and the shout outs from Brian Armstrong have helped buoy it up, I would say. But from a technical standpoint, you have a series of higher highs being developed. You have higher lows being developed the whole time. And it actually looks like a very, very bullish market setup. It actually looks like a very bullish setup. Square and Coinbase logos are both of a cube. Read the symbolism. For God's sakes, man. Read the symbolism. There's snakes in the logo. Oh, God. Let's see. This is almost like a BitLab logo. What does our BitLab Academy logo look like? I want to see this. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's see if did they jack us, man. Make sure you're following BitLab. Oh, my God. Make sure you're following BitLab Academy. What? Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Where is that post again? All right, let's see here. That's what that one looks like. Now a little bit different. The bubbles are on the outside. They get past the sniff test there. The bubbles are on the outside. Make sure to give Kelly Kelm a follow there. Now, yes, it is listed on Coinbase. What would be nice to see is this graph breaking into that next zone of $2 and bringing a lot of those beaten down DeFi projects up with it. This is almost like the ebb and flow, the seasonal flows of crypto narratives where they pump real hard. It's the same thing you saw with the AI agents, right? They pump real hard for a season, then they go back down. Research Coin might actually get those DeFi projects out of the trenches here in a minute. Now, ENA, Athena token, also working on getting itself out of the trenches. One of my other favorite traders out here, Fallis, he's just hilarious. You know, I mean, his calls, we generally agree on his calls, but he is hilarious as well. Fallis, talking about Athena leading the altcoin recovery here, already up 18% off the lows. And he's talking about a target of $1.3 per token here, setting up his general trade that he's looking for. Honestly, a gigalong 50x. He's going nuts on it. But let's go look at Athena right now. Athena has very, very interesting lore going on with World Liberty Fi investments. I see a lot of kind of, very powerful people interested in Athena. We see a lot of movements towards RWA and tokenization of the market at large for the US markets being talked about literally today by Paul Atkins, talking about how they're going to put the whole US market on markets. And Athena is right in the middle of that conversation, and it's been being scooped up by Trump's boys over at World Liberty Fi. So this chart's beat down, but it's got a lot of underlying bullish connections going for it. On the 7 day, you're up 27%. On the month, you're up 140%. On the year, you're only up 50%. So it's had a really, really sharp resurgence out of the 33-cent zone, obviously doubling in a short amount of time. But we got to remember that this project was just at these levels of $1.30. So seeing this, honestly, this is probably going to end up being a W pattern that ended up playing to the upside. And it's a small market cap in relativity. It's about $3.9 billion market. So, in comparison to Chainlink or Avalanche, it is, about a third of the size, but still tied in with those same people and really the market structure. Very, very bullish. Now, we talked about a little bit of Solana's involvement with that White House crypto report. Something else about Solana that's going on is their monthly DEX volume is down by nearly 70% from its monthly peak in January. Now, this was everyone going to Pump Fund, everyone using all of the decentralized exchanges to get access to all those hot, frothy memes as they were popping up. Then Libra token happened, I think it was like a country in Africa or something that released a coin on Solana. They rugged it. And then you also had Melania, Trump's wife, release a token that went to dang near zero, and people got hurt. The Solana hype kind of died off. DEX volume has died off just a bit, but Solana has other things going for it too. It's got Invesco Galaxy filing for the Solana ETF with the CVOE, and included with a lot of these ETFs, in my personal opinion, is going to be the ability to stake your Solana in an ETF, get that yield, and then all absolute hellfire breaks loose on regular stocks as people flee into crypto stocks that are producing strong yield. Argentina, thank you very much for that. The Javier Milei, and no worries, Javier Milei investigated himself and they found there was no wrongdoing. Things moving along, all right? That was just such a mess. Javier, he came out strong. He came out with the chainsaw, man. I was like, yes, freedom. And yeah. And I guess free markets, you can release a meme coin. But man, hold up the market a little bit there, buddy. Give it a tweet or something, give it some love. He is judge, jury, and executioner. Sea Wild, Morning Drew, any thoughts on Wormhole? I'll go check out Wormhole today. That's a good idea. That F guy dropping them BitLab shirts. Make sure you guys are following BitLab Academy and Kelly. He was out there in Hawaii. It didn't sound like the tsunami got too bad, and thankfully he was okay, but make sure to go give him a like. He's a hardworking dude here in the office that's always working on bringing you guys the alpha. He's just globetrotting over there in Hawaii these days, just for the moment being. But now we got to take a look at something Coinbase put out, okay? This is based in the UK. This is meant for UK customers. Everything is fine. If everything is fine, don't change anything at all. But when the financial system isn't working for so many people in the UK, it needs to be updated. This is the commercial Coinbase just dropped. It hits, it's fire. Let's go.
We ain't got no troubles, no reason to complain. Cause here in great old Britain, we just love it when it rains. Morning. We're cozy here at home, even though it's not our own. But wait a few more years and you can say everything is just fine. Everything is grand. Your life can get no better when you're living by the letter in this pleasant land. Everything is just fine. Everything is great. The streets can't get no cleaner, nor the rat meat any leaner. No, life is just first rate.
Everything is just fine.
These fish fingers are a steal.
Prices up a smidge.
Just 100 quid a meal.
Empty purse, but hey, could be worse if there was nothing in the fridge.
I kind of like the approach. I know it's an ad, but I kind of like the approach. Highlighting inflationary pressures, cultural pressures, you know, Flex and North dropping the truth here. Let's, I feel really, really bad for viewers that express their disdain for what's going on in the United Kingdom. To avoid continuation of a dystopian nightmare, as you so eloquently put it, the great, I really, really think that our last hill to stand on outside of non-verbal communication of an overhaul of this current system, I'll say it that way, is by cold storage of our crypto. And we got a great channel partner, Arculus. They come in these sweet, sleek boxes. I just ate pizza, so there might be some sauce on there. But they come in these sleek metal cards. You get it. It's 3-factor authentication. Become your own bank. Opt out. Opt out of the system that's failing people across the planet. Opt out of the system that is stealing my money and sending it to countries on the other side of the planet to expand territory conquest in their interest on my dollar, expending American blood on those soil patches for other country interest. I am so tired of seeing this be used. Honestly, the best thing we can do right now, outside of non-verbal, non-communicative means, is by holding our Bitcoin on a cold storage device. We have a channel partner, Arculus, but whatever it is, please, for the love of God, opt out of the system. The real power here is the movement of capital flight. There's nothing that governments fear more than capital flight. You have the power in your own hands. Do with it what you will. Now, what happened to this country? In 1958, you could snag a 4-bedroom house for $11,900 or $870 or $87 a month. Oh my God. Adjusted for inflation, that's $128,000. Ooh, okay. Now, try finding anything with a roof for that price that's a livable location here in the United States in 2025. Absolutely insane. Millennials and Gen Z aren't bad with money. The game changed and nobody gave them the rule book. This is what we work so hard for you guys every single day, is to explain. If you adjusted for the amount of money that they have printed from point A to point B, you would need, adjusted for inflation, you would need to find a house that's worth $128,000. Right now, the average price of a home is $450,000. People need to wake up. And you know what? Maybe Japan might be in the travel books for yours truly or others watching this show here. Japan could become a haven for crypto investors. Existing versus proposed crypto taxation rules in Japan. They have a tax rate of progressive rates in the current rules, 15 to 55%. Holy God. Proposed rules have taxed, if this passes, 20% flat tax, tax classifications on miscellaneous income. This new ruling would do financial products like equities. Loss carry forward that wasn't allowed, and now it is up to 3 years of losses you can carry forward. Crypto ETFs weren't available. They're expected to be allowed through this new legislation in Japan, and reporting thresholds to remain unchanged, but they're greater than 200,000 yen per year. So they are opening up some crypto friendliness, but honestly, I'm not going to live in Japan. I like America too much, but you can go find out more. It is kind of intriguing, just to see what other nations are doing. Japan stresses me out. They're, the amount of treasury bonds, Japan holds the most US bonds of any country on the planet. They are a systemically important treasury bond holder. And if the yen continues to fall and if their market continues to be obscured by arbitrage traders, they might have to dump those bonds. And then, then the ugly stuff might happen. Sushi in Japan is so good. You know what? I mean, I'll eat some sushi. I'm not like a guy that'll go source out sushi. Like, you'll never have a day where just like, you know what I could use today? Some sushi. You never get it in hand. I have barbecue days. I have pizza days. I have hamburger days. I have burrito days. I never have sushi days. But maybe if I went there, they'd change my mind. that Wagyu. Ooh, Wagyu beef from there. Ooh, you're right. You're right. I've heard that Wagyu is a scam, though. Is Wagyu beef a scam? Woo. Looks like Anthony Carlucci's picked up some RSC. Shout out to you. We'll see how that rolls out. It's backed by the right people. And that's what we're like down bad right now, but we need to be looking around for different projects that have the right backing to really get that. Because I feel like alt season is completely delayed. We're not in alt season by the altcoin season index by any means. Let's go check it out. Where we're at right now. I looked at this earlier this morning. We're at a 35. We are back nearly into dark orange territory or hardcore Bitcoin buffoonery here. We're at a 35 right now. We have to breach above the 50 and really get closer to the 70 and above the 75 to get into that true altcoin season. So these are the times where people aren't paying attention. These are the times of cheap prices. And you can see it like the Solana ETF being staked. There's a driving mechanism, a DeFi protocol within Solana that is behind a lot of the staking on Solana. And it's actually being specifically called out by these ETFs as the mechanism behind Solana staking. And that project is Marinade. We're going to go look at this. I'm just showing you this because there is so much downward pressure and sentiment, and yet total value locked looks like this on Marinade. Straight up into the right. Beautiful chart. Solid growth, continual growth, higher lows. You're at a $1.9 billion market cap as things sit right now. And then you overlay this with the token price. Holy God, people are asleep right now. Look at this. So there's major opportunity out there. It's something I always said, especially I say this during the hyper bullish parts of markets, is you get the crypto you have at the price you deserve. If you're willing to take a risk bet on whatever speculative project that might have a chance to rise above the rest while it's down, you deserve all of that upside. All of that upside. It's easy to go chase green candles and be with the herd. It's hard to think for yourself, to do your own research, and to put conviction down on projects and hold them through. This is a crazy looking discrepancy, though. The price of this token overlaid with TVL. Solana staking goes live. This is going to go berserk. Marinade's going to go absolutely berserk. Now, on the cultural side here, we've run into some bumps, some speed bumps as a culture over the past week. And I would say this. Now I have weird posts from Elon Musk talking about this Tesla Optimus has great genes. Apparently, Sydney Sweeney has cut deep into the hearts of liberals across the world. And now we have crazy orders from a federal judge ordering Sweeney to gain 100 pounds and get one of those butch haircuts, according to the Babylon Bee. Big if true. Big if true. Now, on this side, I'm sorry, EU. Your situation's weird. German state of Bavaria will introduce a tax on water. Groundwater is our blue gold, says Minister President Sauter. The water cent is coming. It'll be due for the first time July 1st of 2026. After months of debates, Prime Minister Markus Sauter and the cabinet decided in their last meeting before the summer break to introduce the water cent in Bavaria, a new fee, therefore uniformly 10 cents per cubic meter of groundwater pumped into the free state, and is to be introduced from the 1st January 2026. A literal basic human right also being taxed, right? I got people pretty fired up when I showed the video yesterday on all of the different tax mechanisms that exist here in the United States. It's even worse in the UK, but there are things that we can do here in crypto to kind of see what's available out there, right? Obviously, always do your taxes. We got a partner for direct tax involvement with Decrypted Tax. I don't know if they're just a great partner channel, partner organization, Decrypted Tax. But if you're looking for juicy tax environments for your crypto to live in, well, take advantage of getting a real human on the phone with Bitcoin IRA. 877-936-7175. You get an actual person to answer the phone and explain all of your options with crypto assets inside of the tax advantage environment of an IRA. Again, it's 877-936-7175. Give them a shout. And huge shout out to Bitcoin IRA, man. I love seeing new mechanisms from old systems. People are able to use IRAs. Why can't we expand the crypto ecosystem into this and really see some advantages there? So figure it out, give them a call and see for yourself. It's a pretty cool situation. And shout out to Chris Klein from them. Now I want to look at the other projects. I know we had mentioned Morpho. Let's go look at some of my watch list items here. I know Morpho should be on there. Oh, it must be tied into a different profile. Black Hole, though. Let's see what Black Hole's been up to. Got $1 flat. Bounced hard off of that 80-cent dump from yesterday. Honestly, I was talking about $1 making a lot of sense for level of support for Black Hole, so not looking too bad. Let's go to Morpho, though. One thing about Black Hole I will say is super high yield. Maybe they're here for a good time, not a long time. Right? Maybe super high yield means they're here for a good time, not a long time. Now, Morpho, $1.80, honestly setting up some very, very bullish movement from our buy call at 87 cents, which I am, of course, very proud of because put my whole schlong on the table, said I'm backing up the truck, and here we are. We have doubled, more than doubled since that time frame. God, that was such a... Currently, we're up about 106, 107% on this. Now, Morpho, the fundamentals are stronger than ever. Upward trajectory on a W pattern. Markets are set for a nice bounce. This is looking juicy. Let's check out Wormhole. I think it's the W ticker, I think. Yeah. Let's go here. So Wormhole, I will say that I haven't heard the lore of Wormhole in a while. Let's see what the chart looks like. Not great. Okay, this chart does something is going on. Something's going. Doctor, can you call the devs? This is a problem. So it's up by 15% on the month, but this is very lackluster in comparison to the rest of the markets. There's been a lot more uppiness in the rest of the markets. We have volume slightly down, not a big red flag, but you are slightly down on volume in the market cap at 382 million. Is there any more tokens for these VCs to feel incentivized to pump up, to dump into? Yes, we have half the tokens still remaining to release in the circulating supply. I forgot Wormhole existed as well, biz knowledge. I forgot that. Let's go check out the X. Let's check out the X. So Wormhole, 386,000 followers. Let's see how many likes they're getting here. About 112. The pinned one, I'm concerned now. The pinned one from April 3rd only got 870 likes. If my tiny little account of 8,000 followers gets 1,000 likes and a $350 million market cap project with 380,000 followers gets 800 likes, I'm concerned. They did a transaction on Ondo a couple weeks ago. Maybe there's some bullishness there. Let's go look at the TVL on this. Let's go look at the TVL because this is a good reminder. I haven't heard Wormhole being talked about in a grip. So let's go here. Get it on DeFi Llama. Don't get it on DeFi Llama. I'm going to have to snoop around. I'm going to find this information because, the Wormhole chart leaves a lot to be desired. Like this chart, it's going to give ICP PTSD if it remains in this realm. It's at 8 cents. It came out at $1.30. It's been literally down only since. It came out about April 2024. It came out in a pretty much the worst time. It came out right as the end of the early 2024 alt season kind of ended, that earlier one. Not great. I will have to see if there's any underlying bullishness I can find for this. I mean, this isn't feeling great. I know it's available on a bunch of exchanges, yada, yada, yada. I don't know, man. Like if I was approaching this and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a fraction of a percent into down bad projects that could come back. I would like out of $1,000, I'd put like 50 at this. I wouldn't be it just for ratios. I wouldn't be really trying to chase this with too much money. Yeah, it could come back, but honestly, like there's a lot of projects that die and never do come back as well on that hand. So go check out Moonwell. Let's check out Moonwell. I know it's on the in club. Moonwell's on the in club for the Coinbase build out, but actually, that's not a bad chart. See? So this, even with my current aggravation with Moonwell, this chart doesn't look as bad. Still barely up from or just general entry point at 3 cents, so that's fine. Moonwell, they roll out. This is one of the only projects out there in crypto that you can get an actual bank account number and a bank routing number connected to Moonwell. It's one of the first test beds of traditional banking actually, from my view, truly going live and testing an account number and a bank routing number with crypto. This is the first product I've seen do that. There may be others that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any others that have done this or pulled this off. And they have a card where you can offload and actually spend the crypto. Part of the incubation program for Coinbase, they missed out on being that lending platform spot for Coinbase. Morpho, the product I showed you just a little bit ago, was competing with Moonwell for that spot and actually got it. But Moonwell still got stuff going for it. Very small market cap. You know, it's $100 million market cap. You get a 10x if it hits a bill. If it hits a bill and even starts sniffing the top 100, and when peak FOMO hits, then you're 10xing from where you're at right now. So not a bad situation there. I'm holding my Moonwell. We'll see where it goes. But I appreciate every single one of you for joining me on today's show. I am so excited for where things are. We are surrounded by actual, true, fundamental bullish infrastructure for crypto. Actual use of crypto in our everyday lives. We're on the precipice of it. Holding to this point has been not the easiest thing in the world to do. So shout out if you've been able to do that and keep the light on. I love and appreciate every single one out there for joining me on today's show, and I will see you on the next one. And with that being said, I bid you.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.